yeah, I want. Yeah, I want to change my habit to about lazy to think things. Like some things actually I better to think a little bit about it, but I often just be lazy and just avoid it. And yeah.
Then you give me an example of some situation where you were something you were lazy about thinking about. You think you would be helpful to think about.
Mm, like I need time to.
Mm-hmm.
Like, example.
Well, what type of things might you be lazy about?
Like, I think almost everything happen in life. Like maybe I like I oh like I need to how is it? Like the the how do you say it, the plug a lot is plug, yeah. And if maybe it's better to I think more when I just plug in it. Like I also, because I don't know, it's a right example, or maybe just the
Do you mean to be more consciously aware or consciously aware when you're present when you're doing things?
no,
Maybe not. So
no.
it seems like you were earlier. You were giving me some example about something you were avoiding thinking about.
Yeah, it was happen it happened when I was in high school, and my teacher showed our case, and
Oh, yes.
a woman, killed the children. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah, and then the teacher asked you about what do you think of, how much punishment do you think she should get, or whatever, about this. And then you found that you were not thinking about that, right?
yeah.
Okay, well, by the way, that's an old example. Is that something that you think is currently occurring in your life now?
Yeah, I think there are a lot of things, but I just cannot come up.
Can't recall any.
Yeah.
What are all those things that I'm avoiding thinking about or lazy to think about? Well, let me just say a little bit, and I don't know whether this is on track or but we can take it from there. There's certain things that I think about that I say, well, I need to maybe make a choice about this, or this is bothering me a little bit. that. And I know if I try to like even schedule a time to try to think about those things by myself, maybe I could sort of force myself, but it's really, I would tend to want to avoid them because it's like, especially it involves making some sort of choice, you know, like I need to choose or figure out this or that, because it's like, I'm not sure what the solution is, whether I'm happy or not, you know, and there's usually maybe two parts of me that are going back and forth. Did you want to say something?
Yeah. Just, but
Okay.
I.
And then, but my solution, I'm not saying it would work for everybody, is, you know, I have a Zoom talk with my assistant Heidi every day, Monday through Friday. And so whenever I think of those things, I'll immediately put them in her list to talk about. Okay. So when we sit down to talk, one of the things I do is go through that list just to make sure that everything is covered. And so, and then I see, I need to make a decision about whether or not to, for example, recently I had this agreement to do my green drink Monday through Friday. And a part of me thought, well, I should do it on Saturday and Sunday too. Why not Saturday and Sunday, you know? But maybe my now said, no, I don't want to do it on Saturday and Sunday. So that's something I knew was like sort of going back and forth inside of me. So I brought it up with Heidi. But I know enough about me. I've got it on the list, so I'm not gonna miss it. I'm not gonna forget about it, you know. And then I talked about it with Heidi, and just for the fact she's listening, you know, and whether or not she has any comments or suggestions, that's not necessary. Just that she's listening and I'm talking it out. I'm saying, okay, this is what my next is saying. This is what my now is saying. And then I'll sometimes I don't come up with a solution right away, but I'll talk about it some, and then I'll push it forward to the next day, so I don't drop it out, you know, to talk with her about it the next day. And but that way I don't avoid these things that otherwise I could easily imagine I would avoid it, you know, or they would just sit there in the background, you know, bothering me. But with this policy that when I think about them, I give myself permission. I don't have to think about it now. Just write it down and bring it up when you talk to Heidi. Now, is that, I'm not talking about the solution part, but is that the sort of thing you're talking about, like types of thoughts that you avoid thinking about, that you're lazy to think about?
And I not really like it, but I think of something maybe more like the situation I want. Like one day I went out with my friends, and we go to some places and to play some game, you know, and the game, and I sort of think I felt not enjoying it, and I felt so boring. But at that time, I avoid my feeling, you know. At that time, I just cannot make sure I don't like it, and I force myself to continue to play this game. And yeah.
Okay, sure. Okay, now at least with that example, maybe we can look at what's really going on here. So if you were by yourself and you just decide to go play a game, I think you would become very aware very quickly. I don't like it, and just stop playing it, right?
Uh-huh.
But you were with your friends, right? and
Yeah.
it seems like maybe they want to play the game, or they're enjoying playing the game. So for you to speak up, or even become aware to speak up, could feel like a threat to your relationship with a friend, the sense of belonging, being together, being accepted, one of the group,
Yeah. Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah. Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
so interesting. I just started reading a book. It's going to be a great book called The Power of No. Okay, and
Uh-huh.
and the author talks about why it's so difficult for many of us to say no, and there's so much emphasis just on saying yes, just to belong, to be, not to mess up with the harmony,
Oh.
and so it's I think it's really built into our DNA in this sense, this automatic desire to go along and say yes, even when it doesn't fit us.
Oh.
Um, and of course, to even if you can make yourself sort of unaware of it, even to think about that, then you can even avoid more of the sense of, okay, starting to think about, well, how can I say no, or how can I get out of this, or whatever, because that would bring up maybe more anxiety, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you can just push it down, not even be aware of it at the moment, then you don't even have to face even if the choice,
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Okay. So let's forget about the how of it, but just if you were to be able to go back, well, first of all, let's imagine you really were consciously aware. I really don't like this. This is boring. Okay. And I want to find some way to be okay with this, either to say no, or make some other arrangement, or even just accept it and be okay with it.
Yeah.
What
Uh-huh.
what do you think you would possibly do in that situation if you're really consciously confronting that issue?
I may choose to accept it, and yeah, more
Yeah.
easy to accept that situation. Yeah.
Yeah. Or you might even ask yourself the question, if you're going to choose to do it, how could you make it more fun? Instead of just instead of assuming, just going with, oh, I don't like it, you're probably not trying to look for ways to make it more fun if you just have this just a belief, I don't like it. There's no way I can like it, So you
Right.
could, or maybe you could just focus on how much fun your friends were seeming to have doing it, and be happy that they were happy. It's possible. I'm not. It's just these possible ideas, of how you could set,
Uh-huh.
Or if I could suggest, there might be some other things to consider. You could say to your friends, hey, by the way, was it a game where you had to be one of the participants, or could they continue with the game if you weren't participating?
No, I have to be one of the participants.
Okay, so if you stop, then it's going to interfere with another person's stop.
Yeah.
Okay. And was this a game where you're trying to win something, or beat the other person, or what type of game was it?
Yeah. It's like you have to win, but not that fun because the rule is kind of mass, and because it's so ambiguous, and
Okay.
therefore the game is so boring.
Okay. Well, perhaps you were putting pressure on yourself to win, right? What if you just were able to say to yourself, oh, I'll just sort of play, but I won't care about whether I win, you know? You know? Or you could even say to your friend, hey, you know, I noticed I'm putting pressure on myself, and I know like to win this, you know, and beat you, but I'm just gonna take it easy here. I'll still play the game, but if you notice that you're beating me a lot, then good for you, or something like that. You know, I mean, maybe you could do something like that, right?
Yeah, I could,
Yeah. Another possibility, I don't know how noisy it was there, is were you playing, was it just one friend there, or were there several friends there? Or were you just playing with one other?
Several friends.
So you're one of a number of people playing against each other, right?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So it would become, I would say, saying it was just one other person, you might say to them, hey, you know, I'm not having fun with this game. Could we talk a little bit to figure out how we can both have fun here, you know? It might be a little bit more difficult with a group, but you can even do it with a group too. You know, if you just say, hey, I really want to be part of this, you know, but this other part is pushing this way, you know, you just share openly, you know. That's another possibility. Of course, all this involves some courage, right?
Yeah.
We're always getting back to courage here.
Yeah.
And of course, at the base of all this, the fundamental is just to be grounded in the fact that your number one job in life is to take care of yourself. You know?
Yeah.
And your friends didn't even have any idea that you didn't like it, right? You were doing a very good job of having a mask there, you know? Is that right?
Yeah, I have more questions about it.
What? Oh, please.
Yeah. What if, you know, you received negative feedback from your friends? When you talk about to them? Yeah.
Okay, so you play your friend, I'll play you. Okay. So let's.
Okay.
So you mean negative feedback to the last suggestion, like you tell everybody? Is that
yeah.
Okay, so hey, look, guys, I don't know what to do here. You know, I really love you. I love to be with you. And it looks like you're having a good time, but I'm not having a very good time on this. Maybe because I'm putting pressure on myself to win or be, you know, and it might help if I took pressure off myself, but I'm just, and I want to enjoy it. I don't want to just keep a mask on, you know. Do any of you guys have any ideas?
Yeah, but it almost finished, and just, you know, you just maybe pretend you like it, and we can, you know, end of it.
Okay, I'll put a smile on my face. Okay. Oh, that's a good idea. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, can you really call that negative feedback? They're making a suggestion, and maybe it won't, but you can probably, yeah, you can just,
yeah.
Or you say, oh my God, yes, I can pretend. Okay, I'll pretend. You'll know I'm really pretending, but I'll pretend.
Oh.
See how they respond to that, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, you can't guarantee. I mean, I know you call it negative feedback, but really it's just feedback. Yeah, I mean, you may prefer some other feedback, but it's just feedback. It's not really negative, it doesn't mean anything about you or even about your relationship with your friends.
Yeah.
And listen, let's say even worst case, I mean, like how many friends were there? 4 or how many?
8.
8. Well, did it require exactly 8 people to play this game?
Yeah.
6 cannot play it. 7 cannot play it.
Yeah.
So it's a game that requires exactly 8 people, no more, no less. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, you're a little bit stuck there. I mean, although you could still say no, I'm reminded of a time when I was in a big seminar in actually it was in Singapore, and this is a multi-day seminar, and you're in groups of 5 people, like a team, in this big room where they got many teams. And the game they were playing was sort of like, I don't know, but it sort of involved, in a way they said what the game was, like what you need to do, and then you got to try to see if every member of your team can do it, and then your team can win, right? Okay. Well, it's late. It's pretty late at night already, and the sort of assignment was that each person would call at least one person they knew and tell them about how great this seminar was. Now here I am in Singapore, and the only people I know are that might possibly call her in the USA, and it's late, and I'm tired, and I just I just couldn't see a way to take care of myself and still play this game, and so I told that to the other 4 members, and I think the leader was especially, I mean, he didn't show it openly, but I think he was especially, because his thing was like, he's got to get people to do what they should do, like that's his thing, and he even asked me, can't you just do it for the sake of the team,
Oh my God.
Sorry, I can't. I'd really like to, but I can't. And he even asked for 30 minutes afterwards to talk with me about it separately, and that was okay with me. I thought I would do it. And but at the very end, but I said no respectfully. I told him it's just, I had a conflict there, but I just couldn't do it. And so you could say I was making the team so they, quote, couldn't win. Because everybody else agreed, So it's like, yeah, and if the cost was very big, if I said, okay, you're going to have to pay $1,000 if you don't figure out somebody to call tonight. Okay, I'll call somebody. But to just avoid the possible disapproval of these people, and them maybe being upset that our team couldn't be said, we won. What do you think? And by the way, that was big courage for me. That was big courage.
Well, I want to find a way, if I in the same situation like the last game, I will find a funny way to deal with it.
And you can always maybe, I think you've already heard me say something like, when you want to say no, you could say, a part of me would really, really like to say yes here, but I'm just having a hard time finding a way to do that and still take care of myself. So you could say something like that even with your friends, like, hey guys, I wanna say yes to all of you, a part of me really wants to, and I want you to like me and not be upset with me. And but I'm just having, this is really, really boring and hard for me. I don't know what to do. You know, and just share openly, see what happens. I mean, worst case, you could find that they're going to be so upset that you say, okay, fine, you're going to be so upset, so I'll do it, you know. And then you can be very clear with yourself. Okay, you're doing it, so they won't be so upset, you know.
Oh yeah.
But see, we don't know. Many times we just project. We just imagine. Oh, they're not going to like it. They're going to be upset. They're going to think this. We don't know.
Yeah.
We're
Right.
just and you can usually check it out, see whether
Yeah.
it's true or not. People are constantly misreading me because they think I'm going to be upset because they didn't do this or didn't do that, and they even go out of their way to apologize very big or something. But maybe I'm sure that they would do what they said they do, but I don't think it's just. I just always bring it back to myself. Okay, what would you like to do now that you didn't do it? Let's look at the benefits of that, and Of course, I'm in a special position as a coach usually in that situation. So, what do you think, Riki?
Yeah.
Does this help?
Yeah. I think I know now.
Okay, great. Let me finish this up.